Hello, this is episode 31 of the Coasterbot Rambles podcast. Today, we're looking at how you could overcome your fear of roller coasters.
Yeah, okay. It sounds like we're on TV, but it's all good.
More specifically, we're going to talk about Zoe being scared of roller coasters and overcoming her fear.
Literally.
We've asked you guys for some of your personal experiences, so we'll share some, personal memoirs of
stories.
Stories
tips.
of how you overcame your fears to help other people overcome theirs. I think overcoming your fear of roller coasters is a very hot topic.
Really?
Yeah, well, everyone. Through all of the safety videos, I get so many comments with people going, oh, this has helped me, be less scared of roller coasters and similar-esque things.
Mm.
So I think a lot of people have doubts about roller coasters for different reasons. And
This is what I wanted to ask. Like, obviously, we all know that I used to be terrified of roller coasters, and I can't imagine, like, not being scared at first.
Mm.
But I feel like I don't know, I want to know who is not scared of them before they go on. Do you know what I mean?
If I think if you're the right type of person, you won't be, because I don't remember ever being scared of them.
Yes, but you went on rides when you were like 6, and do you actually remember being 6?
Exactly. Right, that's what my point was going to be, is
You probably were scared.
if you ride them as a kid, you build up a tolerance before you can remember.
Yeah, and
that you're
also
scared of
kids
them.
have less fear anyway, because they don't have any
Yeah.
thing to base their experiences on
Yeah.
to even like build a fear in the first place.
Yeah. Because I remember, going to Disney when I was 8 and SeaWorld Orlando and looking at the biggest ride that they got at SeaWorld Orlando at the time, which was Kraken. It's
Yeah.
this, 7 or 8 inversion, floorless sit-down coaster. Quite big. And I just literally ran towards it. And I couldn't be more excited to ride it.
But you'd been on other stuff before you were 8,
Exactly.
right?
I'd been on more.
See, I feel like, I don't know though, because like I said to you the other day, you keep saying, oh yeah, like if you go on rides as a kid, or if you go to theme parks as a kid, you're basically going to go on the rides. But that's not what happened to me. We went to Thorpe Park, Legoland, Chessington, all throughout my childhood. We had annual passes. I went with my friends all the time. It was like half an hour away, right? Went there all the time, and I still didn't go on the rides.
I think one thing that could probably help is, if you're an adult, 16 or so, and you haven't ridden a roller coaster, you're not going to ride the kiddie ones, are you? If you see what I mean. People aren't
Right.
your friends aren't going to make you ride the kiddie ones. But when you're a kid, that's all you've got. So
I see.
You start at the bottom. You have to. And then if you do it like I did, where as you grew up, you were excited to ride the next tier.
And it like goes up with your age.
It goes up with your age. So
Yeah.
as I said, when I went to SeaWorld, I was just tall enough to start the thrill rides.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I think the year after or a few years later was Saw the Ride and I got on that.
Yeah,
know.
but I went on things like Flying Fish as a child. And what's another one like that? I went on the Dragon at Legoland.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like cry before I went on it. And I said to my parents I don't want to go on. But they made me go on it. But I feel like I just hated all of those little rides as a kid. Not really for any particular reason, because I was probably fine on them. But when you commit like one time to being scared, and then you kind of have to do it forever. So I did that, but then when I like was older and I could start actually saying no, like when I was 10 maybe, and I could literally be like, Mum, I'm not going on it. Then I stopped going on any rides except Flying Fish. And then, like you say, the thing happened where the rise got too big for me to like jump up to the next level. And everyone was going on things like Saw and Stealth. And I just couldn't do it because all I did was Flying Fish.
Yeah, but you bring me up to the question, the comment of, not all roller coasters are good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want Flying Fish to be one of the first roller coasters I would ever ride. Because it's janky, right? It's janky as hell. It's not very good. It's not very comfortable.
Yeah, and this is where the problem lies with me, I think.
And I think that problem doesn't just lie with you, but most people. I think most people have been on one roller coaster that wasn't very good. They didn't have a good experience that time, and it put them off.
Yeah.
And they won't try anything else again. Because you got to think, we know that every time you ride a roller coaster, it might not even be the same. You might get a different experience.
Yeah,
But
and
other people
also
don't
the
know
way
that.
you ride it. So, like, when I first rode the Smiler, I pushed my head back,
Exactly.
which made it worse.
Yep.
Now I push it forward, so it's actually tolerable.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of factors at play.
Also, it's a massive psychological thing,
Of course.
which, since I've started riding them, like, at the start, I was still not okay with it, but it was happening, so I was like, cool, this is fine.
Yeah.
And then now I'm literally dead.
Well, this is it.
There's no feet. Like, it takes a lot for me to like be like, wow, this is good.
Everyone goes through that. I remember, only I'd say a few years ago, before Coaster Bot, before I was really into roller coasters, the first ride of the day, I would always be a bit nervous for.
Yeah.
There was just that feeling the first time, because you hadn't been on a roller coaster in half a year. This is when I would visit parks like once or twice a year. Mm-hmm. So the first one, it was getting back into it.
Well, because you forgot everything.
Exactly. Whereas now,
Doesn't happen
because
anymore.
we go on them so often, you don't get that.
But I don't think we could ever forget. So, like, if I closed my eyes right now, I could ride. What's a ride I know really well? I don't know. Probably like
Do
the
you know any
Smiler.
layouts really well?
But like not
The
literally the layout, but I could ride all the inversions of the Smiler in my head and literally remember what each one feels like. Because you've done it so many times. And I feel like that will never go away. Even if we didn't ride a roller coaster for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Because we've done it so many times.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between, your perception of how it feels and the actual feeling of it,
Yeah, but what I mean... Okay, so what I mean is like... You know how you said you'd get nervous? I don't think we'd get nervous because we know so well how it feels.
Well, this is it. You become so tolerant to it
Yeah.
that you don't have that fear or... Yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
It's just mad to me, like, how like, normal it is.
But that's just with anything, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you
it's
do
strange.
things enough...
It's like brushing your teeth kind of level.
Yeah, it becomes natural.
Yeah.
It becomes, you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Which is what it is,
Which is quite sad in a way.
In a way, but that's just how everything goes.
Yeah.
Which is why you look for the next park to go to, right? The
Yeah.
next roller coaster that's different. Which is, I guess, is why, we and so many other people want to go to new parks.
Yeah.
Is to get that feeling of a new experience. One thing I want to say is, I was always nervous about the first ride. But for a long time, I was relatively scared of Oblivion.
Yeah.
Always the bit before the drop, the anticipation, you're rolling towards the edge of the drop. Not even the drop, not even hanging over the drop. It was always the bit before, my heart rate spiked.
But that's always the worst bit on any ride, is like when you're going up the lift hill and you're just waiting for it to start. And it's like, ah.
And then even, even a few years ago in 2016, I was scared of...
Harry, that's 4 years ago.
Yeah, well... I was scared of going on Silver Star at Europa Park because it was so tall. Going up the lift hill, and I was terrified. So
Yeah.
I think it's natural to be scared to some degree, but...
To be fair, I get very scared on the big one for two
that's fair
reasons.
enough. I'll let you have that.
It's too high, and secondly, I'm pretty sure it's about to break.
Yeah, it looks like it'll fall down any minute.
Literally. And because one of the biggest things that I was scared of before I started riding is like rides just to me they don't look like they're possible. So I feel like they're just going to break or something. And the big one is just like the definition of like a ride that's going to break any second. And it's just, I don't even know how it's still there. It's actually ridiculous.
I think one of the benefits of becoming an enthusiast, or at least more interested in roller coasters, is if you ride roller coasters, just like most people do, you don't know anything about them. You have no knowledge of how they work or
Yeah.
how they're built.
Yeah, same
So-
at the start.
You don't exactly.
It was
you
alien.
fear this machine
Yeah.
because you don't know it.
Well, that's one of the biggest fears as a human is like the unknown,
Exactly.
and
but-
it falls in that category.
Even if you're scared of roller coasters and start to become an enthusiast, I can imagine that helps.
Yeah.
Because you start to learn how they work. You
Well, you
start to
just
learn the
build
things
trust.
in place. Exactly. You build trust with these rides,
Stupid
and then
machines.
eventually you'll be willing to go on one. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about overcoming that psychological fear in your head that tells you don't.
Yeah.
And once you pass that barrier, that's it.
Also, if you become an enthusiast, everybody around you is riding them all the
Yeah.
time. So you're thinking, well,
This is
no
normal.
one else has died yet. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I feel like for the general public, it must be like a really mad thing. Obviously, I'm pretty much a general public person anyway.
Well,
But it's just like if you don't go there often, you don't know anything about it, and it just looks insane. Why would you go on it? It's just mad, isn't it?
You say that, but then 25 million people a year visit Magic
Yeah,
Kingdom.
but they're like adrenaline junkies,
No,
man. They'll do
it's
anything.
like families with
Yeah,
kids,
no,
and they
I
all
know.
ride roller coasters.
I know,
you
because they think it'd be funny. But I'm pretty sure they just go on once and that's it, and they're like, cool, I'm done.
Well, they'll go on probably each one once, and then
Yeah.
but they still ride them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it is.
But they're scared, right? So I was listening to something the other day, and people like went on a ride, and then they came off like, "Oh my god, that was the worst thing ever." But they obviously liked it, but they're still like reluctant to go back on.
But I think that's
You
part
know.
of it, isn't it? Is
But I feel like once you've done it once, why wouldn't you just do it again?
I don't know.
Because that was me. When I did one, I was like, okay, cool, I can do that one now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I did Nemesis, I was like, that's fine.
You've done that.
I will go
You
on
do
that
it
again.
Yeah.
I would rather go on that one again than do a different one.
Yeah. Well, because you
You
know
know?
what it's like.
Exactly.
But I feel like people get off and then over exaggerate how
Oh yeah, definitely.
bad it was. But-
Even I do that with like rides that we think are, in quotations, bad now. When we're just critiquing,
Yeah.
everybody over exaggerates. You
Yeah.
know, it's funnier that way.
I think people like to ride roller coasters as a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know, you go on it, and once you've been on it, you can say you've been on it,
Yeah,
and
that's
you've
true.
overcome this. I don't know.
Thing that other people won't do. Like,
Yeah,
if you went to a theme park with a randomly selected group of people, I'd say about half of them would go on the ride.
I literally have no idea.
I'd say.
I wouldn't know enough. That would be
Because
an
also,
interesting
like,
thing to do.
but a lot of people over like 40 just don't
Yeah.
ride anyway.
Right. Well, yeah.
But I would say they do it so they can be like, oh yeah, I did that. Because a lot of other people don't go on it.
you get to a certain age, and then it becomes harder to ride roller
Yeah.
coasters, right? You know, my dad still goes on them.
Yeah.
It's like 60 something.
Yeah.
So he went to a Wicker Man
I'm
press
sure
event.
there's like
loved it.
loads of like 100-year-olds going on them.
Well, this is it. I think, yeah, some people.
Some people are just that way inclined, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, no, I do think that some people will naturally be into roller coasters, and others will naturally won't be. But I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of, it's what's that thing? Environment versus.
Oh, nature versus nurture.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of which one's which. Nurture's like
Nurture's
environment, right?
yeah. Nature is your like DNA genetic.
Yeah, I really believe that it's more nurture, and people
100%.
are told or kind of like
But that's
advised.
how. But let's not get into psychology again. But that is how we're built. Is to look around us and go, oh, everybody's scared of this spider. It must be a killy spider, so I'll be scared of it as well. That's how we're
Yeah.
built to like
Yeah.
survive.
Here's an interesting one I just thought. Your cousins, the two older ones, one of them hated rides. The
Yeah.
two younger ones would have been brought up with that one of their older siblings disliking rides.
Yeah, which kind of makes it okay as a thing.
Exactly.
But also their parents, their mum is very scared of rides.
This is
I
it.
feel like their dad isn't.
No. I think
But this is the thing, like if you've got two parents saying, rides are fine, just go on a ride, like you probably did.
oh yeah, 100%.
Then you just be like, right, well, rides are fine. But if like one of your parents was like, oh, I don't want to go on it,
Yeah.
then you'd be like, oh my god, mum doesn't want to go on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So then you think there's a choice there,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then you start building up the fear of like, mum doesn't go on it, there must be a reason why, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
And obviously it's not like a ridiculous survival thing because it's just a ride.
No.
But there is a thing of like some people are actually scared that you will just die on it.
Which then,
So
you know, is statistically not
ridiculous.
true. Going to theme parks is one of the most safest forms of leisure out there.
Love it. Because, well, the thing is, if you're going to be in a place where there's rides, and there's going to be more safety.
Yeah.
Like
Well, this is it.
100% more safety than anywhere else.
Yeah. And when you get on a ride, it's out of your control.
Yeah.
And when you're not controlling it, you know, if you go skiing, you're the one who has to make sure you get down safely.
Yeah, and human error is
Exactly. Whereas
bad.
roller coasters do have a human error aspect, but it's so far removed now that, you know,
For a reason.
if a human does something wrong, the ride just goes, nah mate, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why they invented machines.
but then I also feel like that adds to people's fear.
It does, because there's a thing of like,
You can't control
why
this.
do you trust a machine? Why would you trust a machine?
Yeah, you can't
I would
control
trust a
this
machine
ride.
over a human.
Well, this is it. Like, it's the same argument with self-driving cars that I always say, well, self-driving cars are much safer.
Yeah.
You know, but people want to drive their own cars and won't and don't like the idea of someone or a machine or a robot driving them around.
It's not even a driverless car. It's the one that they have now, where it's a driverless car that the human also has to drive. Do you get what I'm saying? But all the humans are there watching the screens to make sure everything's fine. So there's like a double.
But realistically, you could have a roller coaster that requires no operation. I think the only thing that you need to do is press a button to make it go.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But like, what I'm saying is, if the roller coaster miraculously decided that it was going to take over the world or like do something wrong, the human's there to stop it.
Yeah.
As well.
But-
because I feel like people have a fear of like the machine turning evil and like doing something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just going wrong, like having a malfunction.
But yeah, this is it. The people operating the ride are just an additional layer of safety on top of what
Yeah.
you already have. You know, they don't need to check your restraint because the ride wouldn't dispatch you if you weren't in anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they don't need to constantly watch the ride because the system wouldn't do anything that, well, you know, it wouldn't do anything that would jeopardize the ride unless it was dodgy. But then it's dodgy, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
A working system wouldn't do anything wrong. So they're there as an additional layer of safety.
They're there
on
for
top
show.
of, yeah, essentially, they're especially the restraint checking is there for us to feel safe.
But also because people just can't do their own restraints properly.
Well, yeah. But I've been on rides where they haven't checked the restraint. They just look at... Well,
You
Disney's a
pulling
prime
your
example,
own, yeah,
right?
you just pull your own restraint.
Disney's literally a prime example where...
But that actually makes a lot of more sense, because think of all the time you'd save. You're still walking down, but like you don't have to duck down to do everyone's restraint, you know?
But then, you know, Disney's Disney, and people have this perception of Disney that they're really safe because Disney pays a lot of money to hide things that they get wrong. You know, and regional parks don't have the same amount of power
Yeah.
or corruption to do that. So, yeah, if every park operated Disney style, you know, we'd be in for a better experience all round.
Yeah.
But it's just a perception. It's the same argument as like seatbelts.
Yeah.
Some people love seatbelts, but they don't do anything.
What the hell is a seatbelt going to do to save your life?
Some restraints just for those who are like, oh, Harry, seatbelts do something. Some restraints do have seatbelts for a reason, like the B&M over the shoulders.
Like Swarm?
I don't know if Swarm counts, but like Oblivion, like Nemesis, the inverts, the standard hard over the shoulder.
Yeah, the classic.
The seatbelt is there, right, to make sure that if you can plug it in, then the restraint is definitely locked.
Okay.
If you can't plug it in, it's not 100%.
So it's like a thing of, like a checker.
Yeah, it's there as like a check on top of the other
But
checks.
also, couldn't you just look on the machine?
Well,
And it would
yes,
say green, green, green.
but the thing is, I mean, most of those are older. It's an older restraint, you know, it's been around since the
so
very
they
beginning.
didn't really do the green
Well,
thing.
no, it would have been, it is a thing, but just the way that some restraints are designed that they can become slightly looser during the ride,
Okay.
which is weird, but
So if they were on the edge of the thing, they could come open.
exactly. But the seatbelt stops them being on the edge.
Okay.
That's why it's there.
Why don't they just make it?
Well, it's an
A
old,
smaller thing.
it's an older
Right.
style of. This is why you know.
They've
you
evolved.
exactly. You think of the Smiler, no seatbelt.
No seatbelt.
You think of Icon, no seatbelt. You think of Helix before it was crap, no seatbelt.
Seatbelts are dumb.
Exactly. they're not required. They're an additional form. They're a redundancy.
Yeah.
And often they're there just to make the park's insurance of roller coasters lower.
Yeah.
Because
Which
there's
is
a perception
stupid.
that seatbelts make things safer. You go to America, Cedar Fair, love to put seatbelts on things. If Icon was at Cedar Fair, there'd be seatbelts. If Wicker Man was at Cedar Fair, there'd be seatbelts.
Yeah.
Everything. So, yeah.
But if you're scared of roller coasters, you probably love a seatbelt.
Exactly. And
I used to love a seatbelt. I was like, yes, I'm secure. I'm safe. I will not die on this thing.
Is it Legoland that they go, you're secure?
You're secure.
Jeez.
To the little kids.
Yep.
Every single kid, you are secure. You are secure.
Yeah. It's such a mental perception of safety that people are scared of.
But I think it is because nobody knows anything about it.
Well, this is it.
Even now, I
wouldn't.
couldn't tell you how some stuff works, but I
Yeah.
just know the stuff that's in place to keep you safe,
Yeah. Well,
which I
this is
feel
it.
like is what people get from your video.
Which is the plan, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to understand how everything works. You just need to understand what
There's
is in
stuff
place
there,
to keep you.
that's going on.
Yeah, exactly. They've thought about it.
Yeah,
so
they
many,
didn't just shove you on the ride and
so
go.
many
"Ah."
people are like, oh, what's that clicking noise when you go up lift
Oh my
hill? It
God.
sounds awful.
It sounds like it's gonna break.
And then you tell them that that's a safety feature to stop it rolling back, and they're like,
Amazing.
wouldn't have guessed that, And
Yeah.
they're like, that makes
Because it sounds like a horrible sound, not a safety sound.
no,
I don't know what a safety sound would be,
No.
but
like a nice relaxing.
to be fair, they do make some atrocious sounds.
Oh yeah, sometimes.
I used to hate that sound.
And this adds to it even worse, Like
It's so
they're big,
loud.
they're scary, and they're loud.
Yeah.
And you naturally fear something that is all three of those. Mm-hmm. So coming on to why people go on roller coasters.
Why people
Well,
go on
why
roller
people?
coasters.
We were talking about it earlier. That why would you go on a ride?
Right.
Why would you go on a roller coaster? What's
For the bands.
what's the appeal? I think
Adrenaline.
well, yeah, I think the appeal is experiencing forces, and then as a result of that, feelings that you wouldn't be able to experience otherwise.
Yeah.
That fear, that little bit of fear, gives you adrenaline and gives you something that you can't normally feel.
Yeah.
You can't normally feel 5 Gs of force.
But also, I think it's more of like roller coasters are kind of on the edge of like what quotation marks normal people do. That's like adrenaline. There's not many other things that go higher than that you do like regularly or like as a family day out. Because then you get to things like mountain climbing, rock climbing, abseiling.
And again, all of those become much more of the safety aspect is centered around you.
Yeah.
Rather than being centered around.
And it requires
an
more
institution.
skill.
Yes.
Roller coasters is like
No skill.
adrenaline, but
For
anybody
free.
can do it.
Yeah, it's literally adrenaline that you can get easily.
Without skill.
Without skill and without any hassle.
Yeah, and without your own error.
Yeah, interesting. Let's just quickly talk about how you overcame your fear.
That's true. Repetition.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. It's funny now because it's been quite a while. When did I do it? Probably 2016.
It would have been 2016 probably.
So like
Or
4
late
years ago.
No.
It would have been 2016. April 2016.
We went to Thorpe Park when they were running that weird fast track
Yeah, wasn't
thing.
that April?
We went to July twice in like July.
Oh,
we went to
June.
Thorpe Park in June and July.
Anyway, it was like
I think it might have been 2015.
I didn't even know you in June
Yeah,
2015.
you did, didn't you?
Wait, how old are we?
'cause
Yeah, I did.
I started custom up.
Yeah, I did.
When I knew you.
God, I'm so messed up. Wait,
Yeah, so I think
we
it was,
were 15 when we met, so that was what, 2013?
Yes.
I went the wrong way with the numbers.
Yes.
That'd be why.
So yeah, 2015, maybe 14.
Yeah, I feel like we were 17 because I could drive.
Well, let me have a look. I'll let
Recently,
you
I
know.
could drive, which would have been Feb 17. No, it wouldn't. Oh my god, my life is a mess.
14. Yeah.
2014. So I couldn't drive.
2014 is when you overcame your fear of roller
Wow.
coasters.
That's ages ago.
Yeah, because that's when we first went to Thorpe Park. I think that was all we did that year.
That was all we did, yeah.
Then we did Thorpe Park again the next year.
Because we went to Thorpe Park and then you basically started getting back into it kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we went to Thorpe Park. We went to in June. Went to Thorpe Park in July the next year. Went to Thorpe Park in June the year after.
Why are we going to Thorpe Park so much?
But it was 2016 when you went to Alton Towers for the first time.
Okay.
And really started going.
Well, the second time in my life.
The first time as not a scaredy cat.
Yeah.
So go on. So you went to Thorpe Park in 2014.
So the plan was that you were going to cure me
Mm.
as we were going to Thorpe Park, and your tactic was ride a smooth thing, right? Because we went on Nemesis Inferno, and it was fine. But I always had this thing of like, I hated rides. I hadn't even been on any, but no, I'd been on Vampire, but I hated rides where your feet dangle because I just felt like I needed a floor for some reason. And then that's one of the reasons I didn't go on Nemesis, because I thought it looked okay and it looked quite smooth, but I just didn't want my feet to dangle. But anyway, that was fine. And then I can't remember what we did after that.
Probably the Swan.
That would have been a big jump then.
Not really. It's smooth to smooth. You
It's quite big
You
though,
probably
isn't it?
were scared of it, but I think you
Yeah.
enjoyed it coming off.
Well, it used to be my favourite, didn't it? So.
Yeah. So
But the story before that was that I rode things like Flying Fish, which is like a tiny kiddie coaster, and I did Vampire because my friend made me go on it when I was
Vampire's not
like
very
10.
good. Yeah.
But it was the thing of like peer pressure of when you go to a theme park with your friend and you're like 10 and then they're like, oh, let's go on this ride, and I had to go on it, but I was terrified and I absolutely hated it and I didn't go on it again. And then, so I did those kind of rides when I was a kid. I didn't really like them. So after that I was like, I'm not going on anymore. And I used to just like cry and like stand with the bags. Anyway, eventually they got me to go on Colossus. I was probably like 12 and I absolutely hated it, and I still hate it to this day. And that's the thing of, like you said, where if you go on a rubbish ride, which is not your kind of thing, you're just gonna you're gonna think all the others are like that, which they're not. So that's what happened to me. So then once I went on Nemesis, I was like, oh, there's another kind of thing going on.
This is it. From the beginning, you have to try and think of what rides would be best for someone who hasn't had much experience.
Yeah.
I mean, Thorpe Park really isn't the best place to start.
No.
You know, you want somewhere that has some decent, like,
Lower
family
level.
rides.
Yeah, family rides.
That aren't too crazy, and then you can go up. But as you said, there's quite a big jump between even going on Nemesis as a first one, Nemesis Inferno. That's quite
I was really scared.
it's quite a big one to go on, you know. Some parks are better suited than others. I'm trying to think.
Well, let's do the story of my cousins this summer.
Yeah.
We took them to
Groenland.
We went there the day before, and then everybody was like, oh, we want to come tomorrow, because two of my cousins, they hadn't really been on rides before, had they?
No.
They'd been on like fairground rides, which is another thing that put me off when I was a kid, because
They look dodgy.
they look so dodgy, and I was like, are these the same? I always just thought they were kind of the same, like, safety level as theme park rides, but obviously not. Anyway, so they'd been on them, but they hadn't been on like a real ride. So we took them on, what's it?
Kvaston.
The red one, which is
It's a
probably
Vekoma suspended family coaster.
it's probably one of the nicest ones I've ever been on.
Yeah, easily.
It's so smooth. It was like you were flying. The seat was comfy. It just kind of glided about. It didn't really do anything too dramatic.
Didn't
It
go
literally,
too high.
literally just did some like little
Twist.
twists and turns, and it was like chill.
Yeah.
We thought this is the one, but it took a while to get them to actually go on, and I didn't even think they were going to go on up until they sat down.
Yeah, so as soon as we got in the park, we literally just beelined and got straight in the queue. But in the
But
queue,
the
they
queue
were like,
was an issue.
umming and ahhing.
Yeah, and I was like, just do it.
And that's something I've talked about queue, so we'll talk about that after. But
Queues are the worst.
so they got on it. One of them was about to not get on it.
They got on it, and then literally we had to put the restraint down, or I think they would have got off. And it was fine. One of them didn't love it, but they were like, that was okay, like
Tolerable.
yeah, and they wanted to kind of like do some more afterwards eventually. The other one did the thing of over exaggerating and didn't like it, but you know, what can you do? This is the thing, like, it has to be, I feel like it has to be a thing that you want to do, otherwise you're not going to overcome it, because you're just going to be in denial about the fact that you actually thought it was okay.
This is it. If you don't let go of the fear, there's no way you can overcome the fear.
I feel like it's just a commitment thing as well.
'Cause
Of like, you've committed to your, this is also psychology, ridiculous. You've committed to your own opinion that you don't like roller coasters.
Yeah.
So if you change it, everyone's going to be like, oh, you've changed your opinion. And that's just a thing that people don't really like to do. So it's quite hard to, like, when you've said you don't like it for so long, which I had, it was quite hard to be like, actually, that was alright. It's a weird thing to do.
I still don't believe your cousin who said he didn't like it.
No, Because I've been in that position.
This is it. It's just not true.
It's not true.
He rode it probably so anxiously that
he was imagining things that weren't even happening.
He was uncomfortable before we even got on the ride, you know? So
it literally was the nicest ride in the world.
He hated his life in the queue.
Yeah.
So getting on the ride isn't going to make any difference, is it? He's going to hate his life still. And that's the problem. He didn't just go, all right, I'm just going to see what it's like. He
was not open.
He went in with the intention is this is going to be bad and reinforced it because he was feeling crap anyway.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how he did it, to be honest, because literally it was like being in a museum where they like put you on a car and go around.
It was really good.
Just
really nice.
The dumbest ride ever, but
then even your other cousin, you know,
she was nervous, but open to it.
To this day, she still feels that it was a worse experience. I think she looks back on it worse than she did at the time.
Yeah. But I like her mindset. She was open to it. She was up for the challenge. Yeah. She did it.
Yeah.
She had a lot of good techniques before we went. She was watching POVs. She watched your safety video.
Well, this is it. If you know what you're in for, this is what a friend of mine did when we went to Europa Park.
Yeah.
He hadn't been to a theme park in ages. I was showing him the POVs and showing him the ride, so he knew what he was in for.
Exactly. Just do a bit of research. Like, if you don't know how restraints work and you're worried your restraint's going to come open in the ride, and that's like your number one fear, just look up how a restraint works. And then you could be like, to your brain, actually it's not going to come open because so and so and so is happening in the mechanics of it.
Well, this is it. When you're going on a ride, take notice of what's happening around you and be like, oh yeah, they're checking the restraint.
Yeah, they've given a thumbs up.
Exactly, we're ready to go. And then, you can think about all of these safety features as you go around. Listen to the click of the lift hill.
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. One thing I want to say is, when my friend went to Europa Park, and this is kind of about letting your fears go, going up the lift hill, he was terrified.
Me.
Right? I was sitting behind him and he looked like he was really nervous.
Yeah.
We got to the top, right, down the first drop, he'd let his fear go and he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. And that was quite a big one. It was Woden, so it's not just relatively smooth or scenic. It's pretty chaotic and fast.
And that's what I'm talking about. You can be scared, but you can be open to just let it be okay.
Yeah,
you know?
You have to have an open mindset and have to go in with
Otherwise you're going to just be like my cousin and just make up some kind of tension in your body, and then it'll just be horrible.
Yeah, and the queue is a big factor of that tension.
Yeah, we forgot about the queue.
I think the best scenario for overcoming your fear is to go to a theme park where no one else is there.
Yeah.
Because then you can just go straight on the ride. You walk into the station, you watch one train go, you're on the next one.
Yeah.
You've got 3 minutes to think about it.
Yeah.
If you're in a queue for half an hour, you're watching it go round, you're listening to all the screams.
Yeah.
And you're over, processing everything.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing. I think I mentioned this before when we talked about my Disney trip. Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
That kind of situation is not great. So I had my friend with me who was scared, terrified, and she was like, I want to go on it though. But I was like, oh no, I hope we don't have to queue past the lift hill, because basically it's not a lift hill, it's a launch.
Yeah.
The launch is right next to part of the queue, so everyone's standing there watching the launch go off, and it looks horrific. Obviously, it's a fine ride, but if you look at that and you're scared of roller coasters, you're like, oh no. And we queued past it, and she was just watching it like, I can't do this, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So you need to find a ride where it's kind of concealed, so that you don't really know what's gonna happen. Well, I don't know.
There's
but because you should have researched it and POV'd it.
There's swings and roundabouts. Sometimes you want to know what you're in for, but then you don't want the build-up.
Yeah, it's the build-up.
Yeah, it's the build-up. I think
it's the countdown of Rock and Roller Coaster and the noise, that kind of situation. You need to go for a chill one where you can just, gather your thoughts.
Definitely. Start off at the bottom.
Yeah.
This is the top tip.
Let's do some tips.
That's it. So go on a non-busy day.
Yeah.
Start from the bottom. Start with the more gentle kiddie rides.
Yeah.
More gentle kiddie family rides.
Get used to the sensations.
Maybe even ride them a few times.
Yeah.
And then work your way up to the next one. Get comfortable, work your way up to the next one.
Or even just go for ones that you think you'll like. Because not everybody might like a smooth one, you might even, I don't know who, but you might even want to go for like a kind of rough one where you're thrown about, so you have less time to think about what's going on. Because on the smooth ones, you're like very much you can think while you're on it, whereas you might want to go on one where you're just kind of thrown about and you don't know what's going on. But yeah, you just have to choose like a good level to start on.
Do your research.
Yeah. Watch Harry's video.
Have a look. And then, think about what aspects of the ride you don't like and maybe research into those prior.
And also, like, just try and do some kind of low-key therapy on yourself and just be like, it's fine. It's actually fine. Because I used to be in the mindset of, like, I will die. The restraints... I used to think this restraint was going to, like, just pop open and I'll just fly out of the thing. But then it comes with time, but also, like, you actually have to just accept that it's okay. But definitely time. The more you do it, the less ridiculous it seems, because it just becomes like a normal thing. Even if you do it a couple of times, you'll be like, oh, that was okay. So we asked you, how did you get over your fear? A lot of people had a fear. That was my original question, wasn't it? How many people are actually scared before they go on them? Apparently, a lot of people.
It'd be really interesting to take a poll. But
I was going to do a poll, but then I thought it was a bit late.
Well, yeah. One, it was late, and two, you're looking at a very biased audience.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you'd poll. You'd literally just have to go...
But I was interested in how many enthusiasts were scared originally.
Maybe one day you can poll it, just to see what's what.
Yeah, just for the bands. The first one I have here is somebody called Jack, who says, I think the best way to overcome fears is by being with like-minded people and not feeling alone. That's actually something we haven't even touched upon. Because in my head, like, every time someone's scared of roller coasters, it's because they... Or not because, but like they're the only one out of the group. But it would be quite good if you had like a group of people who were all scared and like all doing it together. He also says, I still very much have my fear. I've only ridden 3 rides, Rita, 13 and The Walking Dead. I know these are tame, but starting off small and being with people who supported me helped a lot, and it's given me the courage to want to do more. That's a good one to start on. Rita's quite a big one, I'd say. But 13 and Walking Dead, they're quite good ones.
Wow.
To start.
13?
Yes and
if you know about the drop track.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want to take
someone on.
Well,
you would be doing your research, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't want to take someone on who doesn't like roller coasters and not tell them about the drop track.
It would be funny, but no.
Yeah.
It was funny taking our friend on who did like roller coasters. Do you remember we took Josh on?
Oh, right.
And they didn't know about the drop, but it was just hilarious.
One thing to say is Jack is hosting an event at
This is
Alton Towers.
This is not the Jack that we cycled with. This is
a different Jack.
A different Jack. Their @ is @Ride Your Fears Away.
So he's hosting an event at Alton Towers to get people together who are scared of roller coasters, so that everyone can overcome their fear together.
Yeah.
And
6th of June.
6th of June, there you go.
Check out his Instagram, it's all on there.
Yeah, there's
not
more
his
details
Instagram,
on there.
His Twitter.
So
yeah, that's cool.
You know, use our tips and other people's tips coming up soon. Maybe attend the event and
get on some rides.
Yeah. What else we got?
We've got Nikki from Lush Velvet Coasters. We actually met her. When did we meet her?
Blackpool 2018.
A couple of years ago now. And I remember her being like, "Oh yeah, I'm scared." And I was like, "How can you be scared and be an enthusiast?" That was like the first person that I'd met that was scared but an enthusiast. I think it's so good. She said, I spent years being absolutely terrified of coasters, but decided to start documenting my journey and set myself a goal. That's a good idea. If you say like, oh, I want to ride so-and-so by the end of this, then you actually have like an aim to go for. This
is it. She said that she wanted to ride Nemesis eventually.
Yeah, and John Wardley emailed her.
Well,
She emailed John Wardley and he replied. She wanted some tips for riding Nemesis, and he said, go on a quiet day.
There you go.
Or get a fast pass. Try to sit in the front row. So it's an adventure and you can see the track ahead.
Yep.
Keep your eyes open and scream like crazy.
I think keeping your eyes open is actually a good idea.
It actually is, because I used to shut my eyes all the time.
Makes it worse.
Definitely.
Then you can't anticipate what's coming.
Also,
and your body can't
you just imagine it way worse than it actually is. Like, in my head, I was like doing flips and everything, and it wasn't even like happening.
No.
It was ridiculous. Her biggest tip is to queue with the intention of just making it to the station and get familiar. If you feel excited in the station, just strap yourself down and let it happen. That's a good idea. don't
overthink
think
it.
don't think it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
You can just get to the station and decide you don't want to go on, but at least you like know what it's like.
Yeah.
You know, it's all progress. Someone called Yaris says, I was paid €20 to go on my first roller coaster and now I like them.
There you go. Get bribed to go on.
Get bribed and also bribe us because we will do it. A lot of people are saying just do it or something to that effect, which
It depends what kind of person you are. I think it is possible to just start at the top, you know, if you're brave enough to just start with the worst.
Yeah, but if you're brave enough to start with the worst, then you're not scared of roller coasters, are you?
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The kind of people who would just do it are the people who like roller coasters. Or you can be a bit nervous to go on the first one, but then after that you're fine.
Yeah.
But I think we're dealing with people who have more of a deep-rooted issue. Brian says, gradually. Didn't like them at all as a child. Graduated to I'll ride, but no inversions as a teen. Got peer pressured into inversions as a young adult, but didn't completely lose my fear until I rode a Giga, then stopped holding on. Took about 30 years.
Wow.
The peer pressure thing is something I relate to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I was a kid, it was always peer pressure.
Yeah.
And it just made me kind of hate them more because I was like, I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm just doing it because everyone will think I'm an idiot.
A Giga is a very cool way to overcome a fear.
Yeah. He also says, as for tips, it's just exposure. The more you ride, the more you get used to it and the less fear you'll have.
Very true.
Tricky one, but true. Kai says, I was never afraid of the actual roller coasters, but rather the themes. Was traumatized the first time I rode SWAR and others like 13. Definitely gave me a scare even. How did I get over it? I just did, really.
Well,
that's interesting.
Probably exposure again.
A lot of the themes scared me as well.
Well, the themes are there
which
to scare
added
you. That's
to
the
it.
point, right?
Yeah. Even I remember, like, I have a memory of being in the Colossus queue and, like, the music was scaring me. It's just Colossus.
If 13 wasn't themed to that, you know, scary forest,
yeah, it'd be rubbish,
it wouldn't be as good. Same with Wicker Man if it wasn't as,
yeah,
you know, creepy or whatever. That's the point.
Yeah. Dew of the Sea says, as a kid, I used to be scared because I wanted to know exactly where the coaster was going, but never did, of course. Now my body hurts a lot when I ride coasters, so I should have done more of them when I still could enjoy them without having the feeling of I'm broken in half. This is true, like,
there you go.
It's the unknown, isn't it?
Don't leave it too late to ride roller coasters, guys.
Yeah, but it's the thing of, like, where's it going?
Yeah.
What's it doing?
Yeah.
And that's just, even I don't know that anymore, and I've been on them loads. Unless you're going to sit there and learn the layout.
Well,
you learn
the layout naturally as you ride them.
That's what I'm telling you, I don't know. Because I'm not thinking about it, am I?
Surely you know the layout of some rides that you've been on quite a lot. Well,
I can tell you, like, the start of one.
Let's take I'm trying to think of a simple one. The Swarm.
The Swarm is simple.
So what do you do on the Swarm? Just describe the elements.
So you go down to the right to start, and you do like a long thing through the. Is this right?
Down to the right.
So you like bank over to the right and come back on yourself.
If you're on the one side, right? Let's just ignore that. Ignore the train and just think of the track. I guess you can't.
That's what I'm saying.
But
you get to the top.
Yeah.
And you go forward a tiny bit, and then you come back on yourself like that. I can't explain it in words.
By right, you mean underneath.
Yeah.
Right, I see. Yeah, okay. So
underneath yourself. You turn around, basically.
So you go underneath yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you go down through the sign with the hole in it.
You missed something, but yes.
And then, I don't know.
Surprising.
There's a helix at the end.
Well, not at the end.
There's a helix.
Right after the sign. It's not helix either. Oh, you mean just a bit back into
the river
station?
bit.
Oh, that's just
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know how you don't know.
Because I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what's going on, man.
Yeah, but even if you just watch...
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so am I. But
yeah, but you're enjoying it in the sense of bank, left, turnover, loop. No. You're like saying it at the same time.
Not always.
Basically are. Anyway, some people just don't have that kind of brain.
This year, it's your challenge.
No, I don't want to, because then it'd be boring.
No.
It'd be even more boring. At least I have something unknown that I don't know which way it's going to go.
Do on a ride that you don't like.
Yeah.
Carry on.
True. Anyway, this is a good one. Okay.
Mm.
Any code the dough or something says, I overcame my fear to finally just go and do it since no one fell off the previous train.
There you go, guys.
Isn't that the best thing?
No one died on the previous train, so you're good to go.
If no one comes off the train before yours, you're free to get on. R.HCHI says, just remember they are safe and it's all in the mind. I told myself that in like 3rd grade. These people are confident. It's true though.
It is all in the mind.
It's all in the mind. Just gotta tell yourself it's fine. Rockin' Roller Coast says, definitely start small and only ride what you're comfortable with. Forcing someone is bad. Yeah, Harry, forcing someone is bad. What did you do to me? You forced me. This is a good one. Z something. My parents made me think we were queuing for a dark ride while it was a coaster. So essentially tricked him into riding it.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Talk of the Towers says, do the biggest one you can. Once you've done it, everything else will be so much smaller. That's true.
There's 2 tactics, right? You start from the bottom or you start at the top and use that one where once you've done the worst, you can do any of them. Yeah. It depends what type of person you are. This is
exactly.
Right?
You got to tailor it to your own abilities and like mindset.
Yes.
This is interesting. Thorpe Coaster Photo says, I never stop being scared of roller coasters. I just ride them anyway.
I think one day you will.
Yeah.
One day it'll slowly disappear.
For a long time, I was still scared of them, and I was riding them.
Exposure, and you just get used to it.
And what happens is you immediately go from terrified to numb, and enjoy it. Alid Fisher says, my parents told me to go on it once, and if I don't like it, I don't have to do it again. That's a good mindset as well to have, because it's like food. If you just try the cucumber and you don't like it, you don't have to eat it again. But you just have to try it to say whether you like it or not. Because this is something that actually you get quite annoyed about. That when people say, even I get annoyed about this, when people are like, oh, I don't like roller coasters, and they haven't actually been on one. Yeah. Well, how do you know?
I think you have to try regularly.
That's the thing they say about food, isn't it? You have to try it 15 times before you can say, really? I don't like that food.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially if you're growing up, I feel like you have to try and see if you like roller coasters several times, not just once, and then go, oh, I don't like them. You have to different stages of your life, because you might have changed.
That's a good mindset though. Go in and be like, I'm just going to try this once, and if I don't like it, I don't have to do it again immediately. Yeah. It's just like a one ride, you know? It's not, I'm going to go on this ride and then I'm going to ride rides for the rest of my life. Dan's Theme Park says, think about the bragging rights you get.
Exactly.
A lot of people are talking about having like friends with you that will essentially force you on the ride, but in a way, that's kind of what you need, isn't it? Someone else to just be like, you got to do this.
Yeah, you do. Sometimes you just need that push.
OBJDA says, rationalise it. It's made to be both fun and safe. Think about it this way all the time. It's a good point. They're literally made in this way. They're not going to make something that's unsafe. Otherwise, they'd literally just be sued.
Yep, lose their clients.
Well, they just wouldn't make any money, would they?
Exactly.
So it's in their best interest to make it safe for you.
Yep.
Somebody here says, putting your hands up makes it a lot more enjoyable and basically less scary. Does it?
Well, maybe it's that whole letting go thing. If you're holding on, you're still in the mindset that it's a bit, you know...
Yeah, but you have to get to the point of not holding on. I don't think that's an instant thing.
No.
But I agree that, like, if you're on a ride where you don't have to hold on, because I still have to hold on things like the Smiler, and it's more intense in a way, because you have to think about holding on, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
It is. Let us know if you listen to this and then go on to overcome your fear.
Yeah.
Please tweet us at CBR Podcast or at Coaster Bar and let us know that you overcame your fear.
Yeah, tell us what tips you did.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us your tips.
Take a little photo outside the ride. Do it all.
I am thinking of making a video about this topic at some point.
What, overcome it? Specifically overcoming?
Of one, debunking fears that people have, you know, general fears.
Yeah.
Restraints, whatever. And then giving tips on how to overcome said fears. So, yeah, if you have any tips, continue to let us know.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll make it into a video.
I think we're going to do a blog post as well, which will be essentially kind of what we talked about here with the tips and everything. Yeah. So you can just kind of look at it there. But yeah, I think this was a good one. Something that's close to my heart. I know all about this one.
You do.
But it'll be fine. I mean, I'm living proof that you can do it and it's okay. So be brave and ride on, guys.
Exactly.
As Logan would say.